Today's video is going to be a little different. It's going to be a soft-spoken ramble with my glass of wine. Glass of wine. Because you guys are so loving, I hope that you will understand that I'm going to use you guys as my therapist, and talk to you guys and have a spoken ramble story time, just something a little bit more personal, because it makes me feel better to just talk to you guys. So I hope that is okay. You say that I help you. This is how you can help me. But if you don't like these kind of videos, don't worry, I won't be doing them all the time. This is my glass of wine. Carlo Rossi. Something like that. I have just been having a very stressful week. I don't have any makeup on besides lipstick, lip gloss, and mascara. I'm not supposed to be having this, but it's been a long day. Been a rough week, but I will be okay because tomorrow is my cheat meal. It's just been a rough week. My videos that I were recording I was accidentally deleting them, and I'm running behind on custom videos, and I'm running around trying to get the videos done, but then I'm getting called in to help people. And I just found out that my mic licking video got demonetized. So irritating. Like, it's not meant to be sexual. It's mic licking, it's ASMR. So that video got a lot of views, so it made me the most money, which is like, it's not that much, like $100 for 50,000 views. So it's not much, but it's just frustrating because ASMR gets demonetized for just being different. Anyways, let's get into the real topic of the video. Wait, one more. Let's you guys get to know me better. So I wanted to make a whole video about my depression, and I'm gonna try to sum this all up in 20 minutes. When did it first start? When did you first get depression? So it started August 28th, I believe. I can't remember the exact day, but it was the first day of senior year of high school. The first day. Now, I have a great life. Family and friends that love me. I was doing well in school, everything. But sometimes chronic depression. So I feel like there's two types of depression. Acute, which is it usually comes on because something traumatic happened, and then chronic, which is like it slowly builds up. And I think I had chronic. Well, I know now it was something building up on the inside. I went to school. Everything was fine. Smiling, happy, like always. 10 p.m. at night, I felt so horrible. I felt like the day was never going to come. That it was going to be nighttime forever. And I was bawling on the phone, crying to my friend. Just out of my mind. Like, I don't know why I feel so bad. I don't know why I feel like I'm in a dead end. I don't know, blah, 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 blah. It was horrible. It was, I had a breakdown. That was my first breakdown. And it kind of opened my depression. Anyways, I didn't really know what it was, but as time went on, I met my first boyfriend. At 18, my first boyfriend was 25. Now, that is a big age difference, but there's nothing wrong with dating someone that is a little bit older or a little bit younger, as long as you guys are both legal. But we were both mentally, like, we were on different maturity levels. That's what made it so difficult. I dated him for 3 months. In that 3 months, he did not treat me right. Or, well, yeah, he didn't treat me right. Every time we had sex, he would roll over and just watch TV. And my love language is that I want to cuddle, I want to talk. It made me feel used every time he just turned over and didn't care. And then also, I'm pretty sure he was cheating on me on the side because, yeah, I'll explain why in a second. I don't want to go into too much detail, but so that made my depression worse. It made me feel not loved. And around that time, I started to notice, oh, this is depression. So I started to ask myself, why do I have depression? If you don't know why you have it, you're not going to be able to fix it or cope with it. And I realized that I had, and sometimes I still do, get really down because I felt like I wasn't living my life. I felt like I was just surviving, just like a plastic bag floating in the wind. Because I was just going to school, going to the gym, doing my homework, go back to school, gym, I didn't feel like I was living. And sometimes that happens still. It's a lot better now. But I didn't feel truly in control. I feel like society wants us to live, to just work, to just make money, to just do good in school. So that's the main reason why I have it. But going back to the timeline story, this boyfriend was, from December to March. Yeah, something like that. December to February, March, 3 months. And around this time, I was also splitting up with my friends of 10 years. We were so close. We were the three musketeers. And we were splitting up because I realized how different I was from them. They were content with just going to school, and that's it. If that's truly your passion, fine. But most people, I don't think that's truly their passion. You're wasting your life doing what you're supposed to be doing. And so they didn't have that same passion and fire I have. And it's like I felt like they were bringing me down, so I had to let them go. And that's just the sad fact, is when you climb the ladder of success or you actually want to get somewhere, you let people go, not necessarily because they did something to you, but because you have to let go of that weight. You need to find people that bring you up, not bring you down. And so it really sucked, because I never felt like I fit in school. I was a nerd. I graduated third in my class in high school. I was really, really shy. Really shy. I didn't know how to talk to boys. I didn't like raising my hand. I didn't like get picked on to answer questions. So the only person that I felt like I really connected to was my boyfriend at the time. But he didn't show me the love that I needed Granted, maybe we weren't good compatibility love-wise, but also I don't think he was that. I'm pretty sure he cheated on me, like 80% sure. Because apparently after we broke up, I found out that he was charged with putting up a camera in the tanning room of a gym and filming girls and like stalking and stuff like that. So yeah, and just some other reasons that I don't really want to go into. But anyways, I felt like it was my fault. Like my depression made me sad. Like he was like, of course I love you, but I didn't feel loved. And so he was like, oh, it's just your depression. It's just your depression. Depression makes you think a little bit more severely, a little bit like a mountain out of anthill kind of deal. But now I know it wasn't my fault. He wasn't giving me the love I needed. I felt unloved because he was turning around after sex. We never really truly communicated like I wanted to, like spent time together. We were just having sex. And so he made it feel like, oh no, that's you. Like, I do love you. That's your fault for not thinking that I do. So I was always like, tell me you love me. Are you sure you love me? Are you sure? And I realized now that was me being very insecure. But we just weren't good for each other. And so finally, one day I texted him and I was like, are you gonna love me forever? And he was like, I love you now. And I was like, what do you mean just now? And he broke up with me over text. Over text. And so I was so devastated. It was in the middle of the night, like 1 a.m. You can't do that to a person, let alone someone with depression. Because I was like, wait, answer me, tell me, call me, like, talk to me. It was the feeling like I had no control over anything. I needed closure. I needed him to tell me what was going on. So this was me losing the person that I really felt connected to. You know, I would feel lost without this person. So I drove over to their house and I was like, please open the door. Let me just talk, just talk to me. Tell me what's going on. Nope. Left me out in the cold. Did not open the door. Did not say a thing. Told me he would call the police on me if I didn't leave him alone. And I know that sounds really bad. But you don't understand what it's like until you're there. Yes, I shouldn't have done that. But why break up with me over text in the middle of the night? I'm not gonna be able to go to sleep. So think what you may, but unless you're in this situation, nothing is black and white. But yeah, he didn't open the door. Nothing, didn't say anything at all. And I was so devastated. How can this person that was so full of love for me be so cold? He called the police on me. I was just sitting, like I wasn't banging on the internet. I was just like, please talk to me. Sitting on the doorstep, just waiting in the cold. It was like February. Felt so alone. And I heard the police coming. And I was just like quiet. I was just sitting there. And I heard them say like, what a crazy girl. They said something stupid like, how pathetic. They didn't know I was there, but it made me hate police officers for like a year. Because you think of police officers as understanding and helping. They told me to go home. I didn't resist or anything. I went home and I couldn't sleep. I threw up. I couldn't eat. I was just in total shock. Just like mentally broken down. So that wasn't fun. Eventually, I kind of moved on. My second boyfriend was kind of a rebound. I know that now. I was lonely. We connected. We had fun. It was prom night. We were being silly, and that was my second boyfriend. And it was okay. we didn't really work out together. He didn't really do anything horrible to me, but we just didn't work out together. Yeah. And somewhere, oh yeah, there was a point when I was with my first boyfriend that I went near the train tracks of my house. I had gotten drunk that night and I was so upset. We had gotten into a fight, and I was near the train tracks 3 feet away. The train flew by and I just dropped to the ground. I couldn't do it. I couldn't jump. And I started bawling. And this was before he broke up with me, by the way. And I just started crying, so I started calling anybody I knew to just come help. I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to go home to my mom because Asian culture, you can't really emotionally connect with Asian culture. It's a little bit harder. And my mom is better fluent in, she speaks Vietnamese better than I do, so there's a little bit of a language barrier. And the thing is, she's always just like, just be happy, everything's great. She didn't truly understand. So it was kind of hard to explain to her. But I did call one person. I called the school policeman, George. And I will remember George forever, and I will invite him to my wedding because he looked out for me during the school hallways. He knew this boyfriend was bad for me. And when I called him and he heard what happened, you know, he's kind of like the head police teacher, officer. 5-10 minutes later, there was like a squad of police cars there to take me to the hospital, you know. So that was very sweet. This was before the police incident that told me to go home and that I was crazy. Took me to the hospital. You know, I stayed overnight, and they asked me questions, and I told them I wanted help. I wanted to take medicine, so they didn't hold me because I guess they knew I was somewhat sane and I was gonna take medicine. So that's when I started taking Zoloft. I took it for about a month or 2, and I really didn't like it because it made me feel really, really zombie-like. Granted, I wasn't depressed, but I didn't care about anything. So after that, I started taking Effexor, and I have been taking Effexor from 18 to 23. I just got off of it a month ago. The thing is, Effexor did help me a lot. However, when you're on antidepressants, you cannot just rely on it. You also need to work on your mind. You are not broken. You are just a little bit frayed. You need to fix the wires, repatch the wires. Because whatever moment or whatever events led to it just kind of made you a little bit jaded, a little bit worn down. So you just need to fix the wires and put them back where they belong. So I had a couple incidents with my third boyfriend that I met in college. And we dated for 3 years, and every time I had a fight with the boyfriend, it wasn't their fault. It's just whoever I connect with, I really, really connect with. So whenever I have a fight with that person, I feel like, oh no, I'm not gonna have anybody. I don't feel connected to anybody. I'm gonna lose this person. I'm gonna feel so lonely. It's the end of the world. So my thoughts snowball. Some people have a hill like this, and so it's not that bad. But for me, depression made the hill this big. So this little snowball becomes this big. And it's just a small, silly fight. But I start thinking the world is over. So I had a couple incidents when I would try to cut myself and things like that. It wasn't until a month or two ago, a month and a half ago, that it started getting really bad. Well, before that, I just wanted to say that when I moved to Texas, I wanted a new start. I wanted opportunities. And after the third boyfriend didn't work out, because I realized that he really wasn't treating me the way I wanted to be. He wasn't a bad boyfriend. It's just, he didn't love me for who I really was. He would tell me to stop embarrassing him. He would, stuff like that. So it was like, he didn't really believe in my dreams. You need to focus on a job while you're trying to pursue modeling. It's like, I can't do that. Are you not listening to me? I cannot multitask on a job that makes me miserable while I'm trying to pursue modeling. I'd rather go straight into modeling and just try. So he was never very that supportive. So I realized that, and I left him and I moved to Texas. And I met my current boyfriend, who so much more supportive, so understanding. He's more like me. He's a little bit silly. He's quirky. He's, outspoken. And we've been together it'll be a year in June. So, a year in June. I can't count right now. But, I finally quit personal training. I moved here and got a personal training job, and I finally quit in September. The end of September, because I was miserable doing it. I learned that I was miserable. I can't do it. I can't work for a boss. I can't do what society tells me to do. I can't work a 9-to-5 job. I can't do it. I learned about my depression, that I hate working for a boss. I hate doing a 9-to-5 job. I didn't really like personal training. I like lifting. I like working out. But I don't like trying to teach other people, because it's a hard field. Personal trainers don't make that much. The gym takes it all, unless you work at home. And I just don't like having appointments. I realize that. For some reason, I hate having a time knowing I gotta go to something at 3. I have to put everything around it. I have to something at 3. I have something at 3. I have something at 3. It's just, it made me depressed. If I knew I had a 3 o'clock appointment the next day, I would sleep just stressing over it. So I quit, and I jumped into modeling, even though I had no idea how I was going to make money. But I did it, and I'm doing modeling, and I'm doing YouTube, and I'm finally doing what makes me happy. And I make more by working less. Granted, I'm always working, but it makes me so happy. Anyways, I was still on antidepressants when I quit. And March, my boyfriend and I had a fight, and I felt really bad, like he's gonna leave me. My depression is too much. Nobody can love me because of my depression. That's how I felt. And he had to go to work, and I understood that on my rational side. But the thing you have to understand is, people with depression cannot think rationally sometimes. It's very hard. So you have to be patient with people with depression, but the people with depression also need to work on being more rational. And I was working on it. And so he went to leave for work, but I took it as he's leaving. I was so sad, and I was just like, just leave me alone. And he left, doing what I said. Now he understands that's not what I really want. And I have to tell him. I can't expect him to read my mind. So I told him, whenever I do that, it means hold me tight, no matter how much I try to push away. But it was really bad. So I felt horrible. I felt like if I couldn't have somebody that loved me, I didn't want to be alone. I'd rather die. So if you can see, it's a permanent scar. It's a lot lighter, but I took a razor, like the ones that you put into a blade razor. I took it straight down. I had alcohol in my system to help me, and I took it straight down. Once I got to here and I pulled it out, the skin opened up. And when it opened up, I was like, it kind of shocked me. And I realized, oh shit. Like, it kind of brought me back. And I was like, oh my god. And it started bleeding. It was a good amount of blood. I want to say a cup or so. Because I put a towel under my arm. I was just in shock. I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to touch it. I called a friend, a military friend, to come because he would know how to fix me. But it shocked me into like, oh shit, this is not what I want. I put a towel under my arm and the blood leaked through the towel onto the bed. Granted, we washed it just in time, but yeah, it was scary. And there's studies out there that most of the times when people are just about to die, they realize they don't want to. And so I guess that's what happened. It scared me so much that I realized, like, if I die, I'm not gonna know if I get better. I'm not gonna know what I could accomplish. I'm not gonna know, how far I can go in life, the things I can see, the things I can do, the places I can travel to. And so, the rest of the night I just got fixed up, and my poor boyfriend, he cried, and that was like the first time I had ever seen him cry, and it was sweet. I feel really bad, but it kind of made me realize, like, you can't do this to people. And like, I realized all my friends missed me, and they care about me, and you guys care about me. And so I just want to say I really, really do appreciate it. And then after that I realized I have to get off these antidepressants. They're making it worse. They really are. Because you really don't want to stay on antidepressants too long. You have to work on rewiring your brain to bring you back to more or less healed. So I started getting off depression, and it was horrible because the withdrawal effects are really bad. And I can go into this if you really want me to talk about my experience with the medication. But it was really bad. But finally, I've been off for a bit, for about a month, and I have noticed, my boyfriend has noticed, my family, or my friends have noticed that I am so much calmer, so much more rational. Now when I get into a fight with my boyfriend, I actually get mad instead of just crying and breaking down. So things are a lot better. It sucks now that I have a scar, but I plan to get a tattoo on it to kind of have roses kind of like coming out of a crack in my skin, kind of. I think that would be pretty. But I just want to thank you